Thor is my favorite character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, my favorite character in Marvel Comics, and one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. Since his entrance in the first Thor movie in the MCU, he has grown a lot throughout the series, growing both in power and also growing more human tendencies and acting more and more like an actual human instead of a god. He had huge moments in his last couple movies, became the strongest he'd ever been in Thor Ragnarok, learning to harness his new powers without Mjolnir, and then gaining a new weapon, even more powerful than Mjolnir, in Avengers Infinity War and Stormbreaker. Thor with Stormbreaker was strong enough to overpower Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet and nearly kill him. This should make Thor the strongest hero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? Right, guys? Well, this seemingly isn't the case. According to the creators of the MCU, Kevin Feige, the lead man for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, stated this about the powers of a different but new Avenger in an October 2016 interview. What is one of the coolest things about it is she, and she as in Captain Marvel, she will be by far the most powerful character we've ever introduced in the movie. How do you find those limitations? How do you find those vulnerabilities? Is something that is sort of at the crux of the story that we're putting together. Let us reiterate here that not only did he say that Captain Marvel would be the strongest character introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but by far the strongest in the MCU. This means that nobody else should pale in comparison to her. Hulk, Thor, Doctor Strange, none should pale in comparison to her. What I've come to realize though, after seeing the Captain Marvel movie twice now, is that this statement feels completely empty. And it seems like it's just a marketing ploy to draw hype for the character of Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel, played by Brie Larson. Which makes sense. They would want to hype Captain Marvel, who is probably going to be their lead female character soon, and is going to be a rival to DCEU's Wonder Woman. So they're going to need to hype her up. Before I go over the flaws of this statement by Kevin Feige himself, I'll be comparing feats from Thor in the movies, and compare that to the power of Captain Marvel in her own movie. So let's start with Captain Marvel. Now it's hard to gauge all of her power, because I've only seen the movie twice, and I couldn't write anything down, because I couldn't just pull my phone out and write in my notes in a packed theater. That would piss people off. So I'm gonna try and be as accurate as I can be. There are really two versions of Captain Marvel to talk about in the movie. Her in the beginning, and her in the end. As in the end, she destroys her chip on her neck that limits her power. In the beginning, Captain Marvel is able to fight off Skrull Warrior. These Skrull Warriors have superhuman strength, speed, durability, as we see Talos was able to casually fuck off Nick Fury, which a regular human probably wouldn't be able to do that. They're at least peak human, I guess. They don't have to be superhuman. Then when she escapes Talos' ships, she falls hundreds to maybe even thousands of feet up from the sky and lands inside of a blockbuster, and she survived with little damage. So she has decent durability and is a decent fighter, despite not having her power fully awakened. We do need to note, though, that she is weaker than Jan Rog, played by Jude Law. Well, at least in base to base, she can't beat him. But she does beat him, though, if she uses her power. Carol's beams are shown blowing through walls, doors, and more in the beginning of the movie. But she gets much more powerful when her power is fully unleashed. When she's unleashed, she takes on the entire Star Force by herself, and then when the Accusers arrive, they launch large ballistic missiles at the Earth to try and rid the Earth of the Skrull invasion. Now, Captain Marvel is able to grab one of these missiles and knock it slanted off course, which causes it to destroy all the other missiles around it. Now, we have no way of telling how heavy these missiles weigh. We don't know what it's made out of. It could be heavier or lighter than the heaviest missile on Earth. The heaviest missile on Earth is the R-36 Intercontinental Ballistic Missile that weighs over 462,000 pounds. For the sake of this, let's just midball it so that she was lifting the R-36 ICBM. Like I said, these could be lighter or they could be heavier, so this could be a good midball. Now, she struggled to lift 462,000 pounds. We can compare that to the strength feat of Thor from Thor Ragnarok. I'm going to be using this calculation from the amazing channel Comic Books vs. the World, where he calculated Thor being surrounded by 7 loops of a ridiculously powerful chain. It was calculated that Thor would need to use 651,000 pounds of force to break out of it, nearly 200,000 pounds greater than what Carol could lift. Please go check out the full video of Comic Books vs. the World video linked in the description. Now, it's important to note that Thor did this casually, and this is a Thor who is much weaker than the current Thor, who has access to his full powers and has Stormbreaker. Now, you could say, well, the rocket was being propelled down, so it would be heavier than Thor's feet. Well, that could be argued. Captain Marvel was also propelling herself as well with her power, and is even faster than the rockets that were falling, so it kind of equalizes the feat here. And even then, that's still a 200,000 pound difference, and Thor was doing it casually, and he was breaking out of it, not lifting it, which would be even harder. And this Thor is much weaker than what we have now. So when it comes to speed, it is hard to quantify how fast Captain Marvel is, but we can get a low-end estimate for her speed. She's able to fly outside of the Earth's atmosphere, as she does when she fights the Accuser's ships. This means she needs to travel at least 7 miles per second, or roughly Mach 35. Now, I'd say that she's probably faster than that, as she is powered by something that was supposed to be a light speed engine. But nothing shows here in this movie that she is light speed when she fights, as the Kree ships don't even have light speed ships, and she was fighting them and somewhat struggling keeping up with the speed, which caused her to often just ram her body into their ships. This also adds to Carol's durability, that she was tanking Kree ships plowing into her. I can't quantify her durability. We don't know the speeds that they were colliding in, we don't know how big or dense the ship's materials were made out of, but it's pretty much irrelevant compared to Thor's durability, as there's no way that, well, these ships have star level attack potency, so yeah. But anyways, at the end of the movie, Captain Marvel flies away with the Skrulls, and they look for a new home planet. Now, this ship was supposed to be the Lightspeed ship that Marvel had planned on creating, but I don't remember there ever been saying that the ship had actually been completed and ever attained lightspeed travel, as Marvel died before it was completed. Now you might say, well, it looked like they flew away at light speed and Captain Marvel was flying alongside that ship because they disappeared from our view so fast. But even at relativistic or sub-relativistic speeds to light, that still would have happened. Even if you travel at 1% of light speed, they would be traveling at nearly 2,000 miles per second. So they would look like they're traveling away that fast as well. Now, onto Thor. Thor is incredibly impressive in both Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Infinity War, as in Ragnarok, he fights Hulk on Sakaar. In Thor's base form, he doesn't have Mjolnir. He's a tough match for this Hulk, although this Hulk is still overall stronger than battle. We need to point out here, though, that this Hulk is much stronger than the Hulk from Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, as he's been training since his time on his planet to get stronger. We get this expressly stated by the Hulk himself that he's going to train. This makes Thor going blow for blow with the Hulk extremely impressive. And Thor, with some of his powers unleashed, was pretty much fodderizing post-Sakaar training Hulk. Thor, in Infinity War, is able to tank the full blast of a star. Despite it did hurt him a lot, it's not like he was just tanking it and surviving it. He was just surviving the durability of it. It's still hurting. And it's not like he just tanked an actual starbuster, but he still took the power of a star and survived in it for a few minutes. So he is very, very powerful. And his durability, far greater than what anything that Captain Marvel has shown. Thor travels at faster than lightning speeds, as lightning is the basis of his speed. Lightning can range from anywhere like 1/500th the light speed, all the way up to 1/3 the speed of light. So it is likely that Thor has faster speed feats than Captain Marvel herself. Thor covers all of Asgard and Wakanda with massive storms, which are vastly impressive feats as well, as they've been calced to be country level, because it takes a lot of energy to cover an entire area with a storm. Here are the calculations of those linked down below. Now, Thor without Stormbreaker has shown greater feats of strength, durability, and probably even speed than Captain Marvel. But now with Stormbreaker, Thor should be far more powerful than everything that he's done before, and it's proven, as Thor is able to overpower the Infinity Gauntlet with all the stones wielded by Thanos with Stormbreaker. Now, I know many people say that the directors of Infinity War, the Russo brothers, said that the only reason that Thor overpowered Thanos is because he took him off guard, and that had he been on guard, he could have used the Gauntlet in different ways to defeat Thor. But here's the actual quote. Somebody asks, is Stormbreaker more powerful than the Infinity Gauntlet? And then they answer, Thanos didn't know what was coming his way, and if he did, he would have been able to use the stones to better react to Stormbreaker. Well, it partially debunks Thor with Stormbreaker being stronger than Thanos, but not fully. The way it is worded implies that Thanos would use the gauntlet in a different way, probably using the Tesseract to dodge it, or the Reality Stone to warp the reality of the Stormbreaker to miss him, or turn it into like a blow-up sword or a blow-up axe or something like that. But still, Thor with Stormbreaker at least overpowered Thanos with the Power Stone and the other gauntlets. So yeah, Thor with Stormbreaker is stronger, but not overall more powerful, as Thanos has hacks abilities with all the stones. There are a few things I want to add. I know people are going to say, well, Endgame takes place over 20 years after Captain Marvel. She probably just got stronger, so she is stronger than Thor with Stormbreaker. No. Kevin Feige's statement implies that Captain Marvel, within her own origin movie, as he said when she's introduced, would be by far the strongest, so that can't be an argument. But The thing is that either Kevin Feige must be wrong, or Endgame is going to have a trash ending. Because if we take in Kevin Feige's statement, technically Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel must also be far stronger than even Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, by far. As remember, that is what Kevin Feige said. He said strongest character, not strongest hero. He knew that Captain Marvel would release after Infinity War 2, so either we must assume that Captain Marvel is far stronger than Thanos with the Gauntlet, or Kevin Feige is wrong and this statement is moot and it was just a marketing ploy. You could also say that Broku, this statement just means that Captain Marvel is stronger than any base characters without equipment and without weapons. So Captain Marvel is just stronger than Hulk, Thor without Stormbreaker, Doctor Strange without the Time Stone, and Thanos without the Gauntlet. Well, that would still mean that she'd be stronger than Dormammu, and it took Doctor Strange with the Time Stone to not even defeat Dormammu, but just cause him extreme boredom and have him retreat. So is Captain Marvel stronger than Dormammu? No. I highly doubt that what it means, because then you couldn't include Tony Stark in the conversation, because technically his suit is an equipment or weapon. You can't include the Black Panther or Captain America's shield. You can't include Mjolnir. Usually when these statements are made, it includes all aspects of these characters, and if you did follow this logic, even Thor without Stormbreaker has shown far greater feats than anything Captain Marvel has done. I am not buying that Captain Marvel is stronger than Thor, and definitely not Thanos with all the stones, or Dormammu. Now here is the thing, it is important we include the context of the statement. It was stated in October of 2016, 13 months before the release of Thor Ragnarok, 18 months before the release of Infinity War, and roughly 2.5 years before the release of the film Captain Marvel itself. There is more than enough time for the possibility of potentially plot outlines to change a bit, as Captain Marvel would still be one of the strongest Avengers based on her performance in her movie, so it's entirely possible that in the 2.5 years since the statement, the overall plot of the MCU was altered to, instead of her being the strongest, her just being one of the strongest, which would make much more sense. If I am wrong though, then Captain Marvel must easily defeat Thanos, or else Kevin Feige's statement was wrong all along. And if she doesn't, then we can just say that Kevin Feige's statement is moot, and therefore we can't use that statement because it is moot. It is not logical to say. And the idea of death of the author would still easily apply to this. And guys, I need to say, I have no bone to pick with Captain Marvel here. I actually liked Brie Larson's portrayal of her, and I really enjoyed the movie. I put it as my 11th favorite Marvel movie, which isn't bad, as there's 21 movies, so being 11th out of 21, it's not bad. And this isn't about a female being stronger than the brawny Thor. If Adam Warlock or Sentry were in this situation, and all of a sudden they're stronger than Thanos with the Gauntlet instead of Captain Marvel, well, it would still give me a sour taste for them to come in out of nowhere and be stronger than Thanos with the Gauntlet, unless it's explained very well. Overall though, I'm excited for Avengers Endgame, to see Captain Marvel interact with Thor and the other Avengers, and I'm actually incredibly excited to see her interact with Thanos. I don't expect her to one-shot Thanos, like Feige is technically implying. I think she will play one of the biggest roles in defeating or killing the Mad Titan though, but I think it's still going to be overall a team or a group effort. And yeah, so like I said, in review, Thor has better feats, even without Stormbreaker, and with Stormbreaker, he would be far greater. And if you really want to take Kevin Feige's statement as fact, as word of God in the MCU, then that means that Captain Marvel is stronger than Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, Dormammu, Doctor Strange with the Time Stone, Full Power Thor with Stormbreaker, Surtur, Hela, Fenrir, Ronan with the Power Stone. Yeah guys, I'm not buying it folks, but overall, that's my video, that Captain Marvel is not stronger than Thor. Their feats and scaling show that she's not, and Kevin Feige's statement is obviously just hyperbole. It's just a marketing ploy to draw hype for the Captain Marvel character, and it worked. It made a shit ton of money, and I know people are saying it might even break $1 billion, which would be crazy. But anyways, guys, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think down below. Do you actually think that Captain Marvel is stronger than Thor? And do you believe Kevin Feige? Do you believe that she is stronger than Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, or stronger than Dormammu? Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notifications to be notified every time I upload a video. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...